for minimum wage, if we saw students earning less than minimum wage, or I'm sorry, not students, if we saw people coming out, and if there was a wage there that was clearly someone, went for 2 days and worked somewhere and that was, so there's certain wage data that was excluded, so we tried to look for someone making at least a minimum wage for a quarter, so it would suggest that they have some kind of a regular job and not just someone who was, working partially. And I think that was included. So, and I don't remember the exact details. I believe they're explained there, but that's where the minimum wage comes in. This data can be challenging to work with because we do have wage data through the UIW for folks who are employed in the state. But again, you don't know necessarily the scenario why a wage looks the way it does. So certain decisions have to be made about how you're going to structure the data,
Right.
and so you're going to see some different things about wage data, probably more and more as we move forward. There's a lot of interest in it, and it is important to read the methodology and understand, all right, what is this particular data showing?
Right. Particularly when you're answering to someone who really, having this information is really important, like a parent and a student who are trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And I think all of these data points are very useful depending on the question you're trying to answer. But the flash, the take home, is this median first year earnings.
Yeah.
That may be where you draw people's attention to when they're decision makers, people who are trying to make policy or trying to decide where to go for college.
And one thing that students should know, and we did do something, and I don't know if it's in there, where we actually looked at the average age for particular programs for degrees, because you do get a lot of people in Texas who go back to school. People who have maybe fairly high-paying jobs or have been in a field a while. And if you have someone coming out at 36 with a new bachelor's degree in an area that's been working in a field a long time, their first-year earnings are probably going to look different than someone who's 22 and has never worked in this field before. So we saw some interesting phenomena with these data where we would have students from universities where we thought they wouldn't look as good as some of the top-tier institutions, but their average age student was older, and we knew their populations and certain programs attracted people who had been already in the workforce, and that those types of things can affect these data, and that's part of what some of those limitations and caveats were at the beginning. So something to keep in mind, that students shouldn't assume this is every single person here is right out of college and 22 and wow.
Yeah.
And you can't assume that you're going to make that just because that's the